The health minister's on the defensive. Sacrifices said to be paying off, and COVID-19 applies pressure on the country's fiscal performance. Good morning, everyone. I'm Akush Lapinder, and this is your morning edition. Health Minister, the Honorable Dr. Duane Sands, seeking to make a case for his controversial decision involving 2,500 double swab diagnostic test kits and its private donors. As the minister tells it, approval was granted for the cargo only to enter the country on Wednesday, as obtaining them is of some urgency. However, there was a last-minute unexpected request for the donors, permanent residents who traveled on the same plane, to disembark.
The plane was here, and we had to make an urgent decision. The plane was here to make a much-needed donation. I made the decision to allow the couple to disembark. The pair was not displaying symptoms of COVID-19 upon their arrival, and they were evaluated by a nurse of the airport's public health surveillance unit. They were instructed to self-quarantine for 14 days, and they were tested today for COVID-19. We are grateful for the donation of the test kits. We need to significantly increase testing to protect the Bahamian people's health and to save Bahamian lives. Such testing can also help us to move quicker towards the next phase of reopening so that our people can return to work and so that there's more economic activity in the country. These 2,500 test kits, and in particular swabs, will be used to continue ramping up testing, including on nursing home personnel, prison workers, and healthcare providers.
The incident has, however, thrown into question the possibility of others doing the same at a time when hundreds of Bahamians are stuck abroad due to closed borders. Here's the minister's response to that.
The process of gaining access to the sovereign airspace of the Bahamas requires the approval of civil aviation, tourism, immigration, customs, and ultimately health. So it's unlikely that there will be a free-for-all. Certainly the Most Honorable Prime Minister would have signaled a plan for us to begin the process of bringing our people home. We understand that there are people with significant hardship. There are people that have undergone surgery. There are people who find themselves in places that they no longer wish to be. And we will make it happen. It is a process, and that process requires that we look at a number of things: how, when, and where.
When pressed further about the apparent double standard, considering the donors were allowed to self-isolate at home and administered a government COVID-19 test, Sands said this.
We put in place policies and procedures, and those policies and procedures will always have exceptions. I have tried to point out that there are some exceptions if you have a child or a person who has recently come out of hospital. It is unlikely that that person will be required to go into the quarantine facility. They're a disabled person, not likely to be required to go into such a facility. And so we would have outlined exactly what transpired in this instance, and a decision was made on the spot based on the totality of the information. We would have recognized the value of the swabs that were provided to the government and to the people of the Bahamas. And yes, I'm sure that that entered into the totality of the ultimate decision made.
Sands says he takes full responsibility for the decision and that if a decision had to be made again, a few things may have been done slightly different.